And I got my good buddy Robert from Late to the Party actually going to be joining us on the podcast broadcast as well. Both Herb and Robert seen Deadpool and Wolverine before all you guys because they're better than you. We're going to hate on them and
No
hear
spoilers.
how good this movie is. You can join us youtube.com/beefvegan. Stick around.
Should we leave the room? Let them talk.
Did you see that one part?
All I want to know is if they had the word chimichanga in there.
Okay, well, nope. All right, hold on a second. Rock 102.1 KFMA, it's Beef Vegan Presents. Joining us, very special panel for Deadpool and Wolverine Day. Of course, the release Thursday night, the big deal, but it's this weekend. This weekend is dominated by the third installment of Deadpool. This is a crossover of sorts, and a lot of people are saying a reboot of the Marvel franchise. Joining me, I got film critic Herb Stratford. Good morning, Herb.
Good morning.
And also via satellite, we got Robert from Late to the Party, which is a fantastic YouTube reaction channel, massive on YouTube. So check them out, Late to the Party, broadcasting from Tucson, Arizona. So local favorites. We got Robert. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning. Hello there. Happy to be
good.
Back.
Now, okay, so this is what we all want to know. Now, I have a couple things. I have good reviews. I have bad reviews for Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll share with you both. I got box office predictions as well. Before we get into all of that, first I'll start with you, Herb. What is your review and your interpretation of what you thought of Deadpool and Wolverine?
I thought it was delightful. That seems like a funny word to use for Deadpool, but
Yeah,
I had a grin on my face the whole time. I think it's rare that you get something that has so much hype and so much, just buzz about something that you don't walk out of it going, yeah, that was that. Yeah, okay. This was just like, yep, delivered, fired on all cylinders, funny, incredibly gory. Love the cameos, love the casting, love the surprises. I just had a great time. It was a great time at the movie.
Okay, so you're saying this is the expectations, the bar is set high. Are you saying it met the expectations or exceeded them?
I think, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say it exceeded my expectations because of the cameos and the things I didn't, because I didn't know what to expect. And I mean, not that I'm avoiding everything, but it's like, you heard that he presented that Ryan sent like 9 drafts to Kevin Feige and he finally got one that he agreed to. And so, but I haven't really been watching too much of this person's, this has been leaked. This is coming. I don't want to know. So I went in. So every time somebody popped up on screen, I'm like a little kid. I'm like, oh my God, there's, and I was in a room with one other guy and he was just looking at me like, what? Yeah.
Okay.
It's the laugh out loud funny though.
All right, that's excellent. I feel like this is our version of Siskel and Ebert because we got Robert who does reactions and reviews himself, and he and Vanessa got to go see a Deadpool and Wolverine as well. All right, so what is your takeaway from Deadpool and Wolverine?
So it definitely met our expectations. We ended up, as we covered the trailers on the channel, we only covered the teaser and then the official trailer. Disney themselves were spoiling some of the surprises and the spots, and as well as like their final trailer, they ended up doing that. So if you were able to kind of dodge that, I think that you're going to have an amazing time. Now, the crazy thing about this movie, as amazing as it is, it does kind of have a shelf life. So if you find out a lot of the information, it's going to suck the wind out of the sails, I feel.
Oh,
so
no.
Avoiding the spoilers, avoiding, any of the surprises is imperative. So watching it as quick as you can, that's why I think they're going to kill it right out of the gate because so many people want to know before it gets spoiled.
Yeah.
But I do feel like once you do find out and everybody starts having the conversations about what is in this movie, it will start diminishing in terms of certain people going to the theater because, well, it's already been spoiled for me and I don't want to see it then, or I'll wait for it because I already know what's going to happen. But it's incredible. So going out as quick as you can to check it out. And just the friendship between Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Wolverine, Deadpool, like that itself is what kind of makes it. I think it will stand the test of time just as repeat viewings go because of that buddy friendship of films of the past. And it's a love letter and a farewell to all Marvel films of the past that aren't in the MCU Disney.
See, that's what I heard too, is somewhat of a reset, a reboot of sorts to help move the Marvel franchise forward. Did you feel like it was a fresh start by the end of this, or was that a spoiler?
Honestly, it feels like its own contained episode. So if people are going in there thinking it's going to be Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War with this massive, huge movie, it really isn't. You have to remember this was filming during the strike. So they
Yeah.
ended up having to condense it a little bit into a smaller scale. And I think it works. It works as like a buddy road trip movie. I know that's one of the things that they pitched was having like a buddy road trip movie with Wolverine and Deadpool. And they kind of figured out a way to do it in this movie. It's there at its core, but it's a smaller movie than what I feel like people are making it out to be with expectations wise.
Okay.
Me and Vanessa never did that. So I feel like it really met what our expectations were going in.
And I think the other thing about it too is it's like such a fine line to walk because you're bringing Deadpool into the Marvel universe and you're having to deal with all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Without saying too much. And so it's like it's really a tightrope. And I feel like they delivered that writing, just delivered it, like you just said. It made it an intimate story, yet it had these sort of grand things going on. And you're just like, yeah, and also I feel like it's a fitting send off to Wolverine to get him to come back. You know what I mean? Hugh Jackman was like, nope, I'm done. And Logan was such a perfect way to end his story.
Yes,
so
was.
to be able to do this and to do it well and to stick the landing, that's not easy. So
yeah, all right. That's some early reviews from our in-house reviewers, Robert from Late to the Party and Herb Stratford. Coming up next, what is the box office prediction? And we guess over-unders and the good and the bad reviews from critics around the country. We'll weigh those in as well. So it's Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go right into that, by the way.
What you mentioned about the spoiler avoidance too, it's a shame because like even before the release, how many spoilers were out there on social media with certain image grabs of production? Yep. I'm like, really? Like I get the numbers, they're trying to get the attention going, but I'm like, that just takes all the wind out of this thing.
Yeah, hold on, let's go right back into it. Rock 102.1 KFMA. So the takeaway was from Roberts is that you want to see, from Robert from Late to the Party, you want to see Deadpool and Wolverine before it gets spoiled for you. Right, for the internet. It didn't get spoiled for her because he gets most of his news through Telegram, which is nice.
Smoke signals.
Get it right.
Yeah. All right, but they're not the only reviewers who've been seeing the film. I mean, right now, I think what's the Rotten Tomatoes rating on Deadpool and Wolverine thus far? 81%. So that's certified fresh.
Yeah.
All right. But there are good and bad reviews. So you got to take this with a grain of salt. So I'll do one good, one bad. And we'll go back and forth. Okay. So here's a good one from San Jose Mercury News. They say that Deadpool and Wolverine is one of the best and most satisfying and certainly adult roller coaster rides of this summer. All right. So adult roller coaster rides always sounds like a good time to me. All right. But here's a bad one from the Detroit News. A massive corporate in-joke masquerading as a movie. A corporate in-joke. I mean, I saw in the trailer, you see the Fox Studios logo, so there's a lot of inside baseball talk in Deadpool and Wolverine. So is there
that sounds like a bitter fanboy
it
talking.
does.
Yeah. I mean, that just sounds like somebody who's just mad, because of, I don't know. It just, it's like, yeah, Disney's a freaking corporation, but if anybody tells truth to power, it's Deadpool. And yes, there's all kinds of great asides. And I mean, he's poking fun at all that stuff. It's like, if you still take it seriously, I mean, like you just paid the money to sit here. You're the shill. Enjoy yourself.
Hugh Jackman didn't laugh at his joke during an interview or something.
Exactly.
All right, here's another good review. The cure for superhero fatigue is mocking the hell out of it from Toronto Star.
Yep.
A bad review from The Atlantic for viewers who spend a lot of their time online soaking up the discourse generated by insider fan accounts and message boards. All this will seem warmly familiar, but good luck if you're coming in with no prior knowledge. Okay,
so let me address that. So I will agree that the deeper, because I mentioned this a minute ago, the deeper your knowledge goes, maybe a little more fun you have. Because when somebody pops up on screen, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like you're sitting there going, oh, I don't understand. You know what I mean? You're not like, you don't feel dumb. It's still a fun movie. You just don't know the backstory of that character that just popped up.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine, Yeah.
It's just a little bit of inside baseball. It's like if you had been paying attention to the movies that have ever come out from Marvel, just the movies themselves, like you don't need to know too deep into the creation and the behind the scenes, maybe a smidge, just some of like the headlines that may have come out over the years, then you're caught up. That's it. But there's also deep cut stuff to other things that I didn't know about that have to do with actors in the movie. So shows that maybe I've never seen, that they bring up a reference that anybody who watched those shows would know. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. And then they just drag Disney and Marvel through it when it comes to just ripping on them. And I think that's what makes a lot of people angry, is that when Disney gets in on the joke, it's like hard to make fun of them because they're laughing at themselves now and they want to be laughing at Disney. But Disney's really laughing at themselves with this one.
But I mean, it's raunchy. I mean, it is a raunchy movie. I mean, there, even in the opening credits, there are some scenes you're just like, oh my.
Yeah, and that's good because that was the biggest concern when Disney bought 20th Century Fox. This property in particular, like, are they going to make this too safe and take away the appeal that was Deadpool? And that's the R-rated. As far as we know, it's going to be a massive box office success, right? It is projected to make a $340 million during the opening weekend. All right, this is pretty massive. As of last Friday, there was about 35 million in advanced ticket sales in U.S. and Canada. And this is the first R-rated Marvel film in the brand's history under Disney, right? So with that said, over or under $340 million? I'll start off with Herb.
I'm going to go over because I think the buzz, even though you've given us some bad reviews, I just think the buzz is deafening. Comic-Con starts this weekend. I just think it's timed perfectly. I think it's going to go higher.
All right, Robert.
The marketing has been insane. The Hot Ones episode just dropped today. I already watched it. It's incredible with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. I'm looking forward to Heretic with Hugh Grant. But yeah, I think it's going to be over because they always track those things lower so they can say, oh, look, it overshot our expectations. So I do feel like it definitely will be more.
All right. Well, this is where I'm going to counter and actually disagree with both of you. I do just feel like it's not Deadpool's fault. It's not the studio's fault. I think it's at a point where the audience is still not coming out in that full force to give us that Star Wars level of excitement and box office boom, even though this is the blockbuster that we've been waiting for all summer long. So I do think it will underperform, but still be a massive success. So mark my words, Herb, and we'll double check on this next week. 340 is the magic number. It will just fall short of that. So that's my thoughts. But either way, 81% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. A lot of people seem to be enjoying it. Deadpool and Wolverine theaters everywhere. We're going to hit the reset. Be back with more right after this. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Yeah, look at us. That's pretty good media there. You know?
Corporate talk. Does it out-raunch The Boys?
No,
there's way more. Yeah, there's way more male genitalia throughout The Boys that Disney would definitely never touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
It's like this penis looks like Mickey Mouse.
It talks like Mickey.
But I mean, it is definitely. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's very irreverent. It's very R. It just is. You know, I mean, it just like.
Is it a hard R?
Hard R.
Did you say that too? You said that?
Yeah, it's a hard R. Especially just for the vulgarity and the violence. Like the violence is definitely
it's an orgy of violence. Yeah. I mean, the opening sequence, it's just like it's Zack Snyder 300 level, like blood splashes. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Disney with the hard R, just like Walt would like.
It's an interesting point you bring up with Disney kind of poking fun at itself, though, because I think
we're getting on the air real quick.
Okay. Well, I'll wait.
Yeah. Rock 102.1 KFMA, as we're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. Go ahead, Rico.
I was just kind of curious because you mentioned earlier about Disney being able to make fun of itself. You said they kind of took it over the top a bit, which kind of is not expected, I suppose.
Everybody kind of figured that they would nerf it a little bit because it's in Disney, but I don't even want to give the context of certain things said because it's best left, discovered for the first time while you're watching it. So yeah, we can't even, mention what kind of jokes, but yeah, there are some overtly sexual jokes. There's some very vulgar and grotesque brutality when it comes to the violence. But at the same time, man, it's charming as hell because it's Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds being, buddies for 2 hours or whatever it is. So it's worth it though. If you watch, like you brought up The Boys, if you're a fan of The Boys, like there's just less less male genitalia.
Tongue twister.
Was it hard to get male genitalia out of your mouth?
I couldn't get it in my mouth.